All right, welcome to Sim Chats, Cosmere Miniature Chats. I'm your host, Josh, and I'm Cosmere Miniature, and I'm joined today by Jack, Stormblessed Miniatures. Ashton wasn't able to join us today. We have a few great topics to talk about today. First one is kind of talking about what's on our hobby desk and give an update of what we've been doing the past month. And then the other topic will be the recent announcement by Brotherwise of the military campaigns as part of the Cosmere RPG, and kind of some speculations around that, what that could all entail. And then we will be talking about the June monthly challenge winners that Jack kind of facilitated, called World Hoppers. And so we'll go through the entries, review those, and then proclaim a winner. And excitingly, this month will be the first time we're able to give a prize to the winner of our monthly challenges. So it's going to be fun. Thank you for joining us. And first of all, Jack, let's start with what's on your hobby desk this month since we last chatted.
Yeah, slightly awkward moment in the viewers of last month's call realise that if I say I'm busy painting Lift, it is the exact same miniature as I said I was painting last month. Yeah, little progress on the premium miniature set. I don't think I've actually touched Lift since last month, but I did paint. I had an RPG session last weekend. We finally finished our prelude and got on to chapter 1 of Stonewalkers. So I had a load more bandits to paint, and a Tet Rebin and his daughter, which a merchant and his daughter from chapter 1 of Stonewalkers, that I had to paint for the opening chapter, the first session of our, the main campaign from the Cosmere RPG. So it was all hands on deck, getting those 7 miniatures done, so a bit of a speed paint approach. I bought myself a plastic PLA printer as well, so a couple of merchant wagons got printed and painted as well as making some more kind of modular tiles as well. So lots done, but so that just leaves me with the same miniature sitting on my desk begging for a few more layers of paint, unfortunately. But yeah, pretty pleased with how all that turned out.
Nice.
What about you, Josh? What are you doing?
Yeah, I have been working on. I finished painting up my Asish pikemen I have back there. I got 4 of them done. You inspired me in last month's challenge to finish out my squad, and so those are painted. Felt really good to get those done. I've been painting those in the traditional style, so it's just acrylics, and it takes a long time to get through them. And these are just like rank and file dudes, but I'm taking my time with them, and I'm really proud of the paint job of them. And then now, just the other day, started painting or testing out pigments. I don't know if you've used those before, Jack, but pigments are just kind of dry flecks of paint.
Yeah, I've used pigments. I think it was my Renarin miniature, would have been a kind of Tail End City battlefield dust on there. So that's the only time I've used them. I've got 4 pots of pigment, largely unused. Yeah, pretty cool to have a play about with them.
Yeah, this one right here. So the pigments, right? You see this like creme. I'm envisioning creme dusting as they are marching across the Shattered Plains. They're kicking up dust. They're kicking up the rock that they're walking on. And so it's kind of a way to ground the mini with the base and kind of make them seem like they're inside of the environment. So I've been playing around with it and trying to see how well I can implement that. So that's been my recent challenge. And then just paint up some more of these guys. You'll see them in the background there. I have about 5 other guys, Alethi heavy infantry, that I'm working on to play in my Warhammer games. Because a couple local guys want to get some more Warhammer games in, and I'm like, I'm going to be using proxies, and it's going to be my Alethi army, and it's going to be great. So it's been good to keep working on those.
Are they Cosmere aware?
They are not. They are not Cosmere aware. I've met one person at my game store who was Cosmere aware, and I kind of asked them about the Cosmere RPG, and they're like, "Oh, that sounds fun," but then they have their own thing, and I haven't talked to them since. So I'm trying to get more people Cosmere aware, but it's a slow process.
Yeah. Fortunate with my group of friends, there's 4 of us. 4 players plus me on our RPG session, and most of the group rather has finished all of Stormlight there's one that's kind of partway through it. Although our RPG adventures probably aren't really canon, given some of the actions that they take. But
Yes.
yeah.
Well, speaking of that, Jack, the announcement from Brotherwise the other day was that they are seeking playtesters for the Cosmere RPG, the next adventure book, which will include military campaigns. And so I'll kind of give my thoughts and we'll love to hear yours. But I'm interested to see this one because I come from the wargaming aspect of miniatures, and being able to take a zooming out and getting more of a global domination or even just like battlefield strategy, that kind of stuff. That is very interesting to me as a tabletop wargamer, and so I signed up and I applied. I don't know if I'll get it. I don't even know if I can talk about it if I get the playtest, but I signed up to apply for it in the hopes that I'll be able to use some of the minis, the proxy minis that I've been making for my Warhammer games inside of a RPG game with some people that are my gaming group. So I'm interested to see what it looks like. But Jack, what do you think would be in that? You've read through Stonewalkers. I personally haven't gone through it, but what do you think the setting would be for this military campaign?
It's probably going to be, I would say, set Oathbringer, post Oathbringer kind of time frames. From memory of whereabouts the Stonewalkers campaign leaves off, because I think this campaign is a direct sequel to it, which is quite pleasing, because I was thinking I was going to have to homebrew a follow-up campaign, because I'm pretty sure my players will want to take it all the way through to the fourth tier of characters, swearing the fourth ideals kind of deal, whereas Stonewalkers only takes the players to the end of the second tier, I think, off the top of my head. Level 9 or 10, I'm not sure, can't remember. Something like that anyway, so it's good to have a direct sequel. I think, post Oathbringer, but obviously before Rhythm of War. I think there's about a year passes, I think, between those two books, so there's quite a considerable period of time there that we don't really know much about. Brandon's never touched on anything that's really happened in that time, so I think in terms of story, there's a lot of scope to have a bit of fun there. And obviously a decent length of time to have some kind of military campaign ongoing, large scale skirmishes with the Fused and the Regals, which will be quite interesting, I think.
Yeah. I heard another YouTube channel, Invest in the Cosmere. He kind of talked through some speculations there, and he also mentioned that after Oathbringer, between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, is that year of time. And I remember when I first picked up Rhythm of War, I was really disappointed that we didn't get like the story of like, oh, how did the war started at Tulane Fields or whatever? How did it progress? And all of a sudden we just skip ahead a year, and it's like, so there's this gap in the books that I think is ripe for storytelling, and kind of like, okay, how did the coalition form? How did they start working together? And how did the Parshmen or the singers train up and skill up so they could start fighting and that kind of stuff? How the Fused interact with them? So I think there's all kinds of like military strategy stuff that could be uncovered there. So I'm really excited to see what kind of content we get in that book.
Yeah, I think it is going to be interesting. Obviously, they're talking about introducing some new mechanics, like you said, skirmish approach to combat, which will be interesting. That zoomed out, larger scale combat. So it'll be interesting to see how that works on the tabletop.
Yeah. Because I mean, my experience with the Cosmere RPG so far has just been a handful of adversaries. And as you've gone through or read through the Stonewalkers, are there any like big battles that they take part in, or is it just really kind of small scale?
I think there's a larger battle in one of the chapters. I can't remember which one's, a siege kind of scene, but obviously still that's done on the kind of smaller scale rules and a very zoomed in approach to the combat, focusing on the heroes and their kind of like immediate foes, rather than this new approach will be, I think it said the players will be taking the role of like commanders, directing larger units battalions maybe. So it'll be a big change. I think it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, that will be. I wonder.
More miniatures,
Yeah,
perhaps as well. Army units,
yeah.
make it
There's
larger scale. Yeah,
yeah. I'm
hopefully.
wondering if like we've got 32 millimeter or like 28 to 32 millimeter right now. I wonder if they would have like map assets and then like have little minis to represent battalions or something like that as you move them around. Like,
Maybe.
that could be something. Or we've heard about War for Roshar that will have minis and it's going to be global domination. So it's like, are you going to be able to use assets from War of Roshar as you do the Cosmere RPG military campaigns?
Yeah, I think we're kind of like future proofing and forward planning will make sense to have interchangeable miniatures for across all of the games. So fingers crossed, like we get I'm saying this as like someone who doesn't have a ton of unpainted miniatures on my shelf and even more STL files that have yet to be printed. But bring all the minis on, and we'll get round to them eventually.
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's exactly how it goes. I mean, later on this year, we should be getting Mistborn minis too. So
I was about to say the Mistborn stuff should be coming out soon. I got an email from Brotherwise Fulfillment the other day. All the kind of physical copies of the books and stuff is being shipped to the fulfillment centres across the globe now. So hopefully in the next couple of months we'll get our hands on that, and then we're going to need some minis, aren't we, for that campaign?
Yeah, I know they mentioned they will do retail for those minis. They wouldn't do like a Kickstarter or anything. But getting that fulfillment email from Brotherwise, I was like, I forgot that I purchased some Mistborn books.
Did you get any of the additional add-ons?
I just got, with the Mistborn stuff, I only got the World Guide. I didn't do any of the adventure books. But
yeah, so I've got a copy of all the books coming.
Nice.
And the dice as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the metallic dice. I think there's another 2 of our play group ordered the dice as well. So we're going to be well stocked up on Cosmere style dice.
That's what you need. That's what you need. I love it. That's good. Well, I'm excited to see what will happen. And if I get a playtesting opportunity, I won't tell anyone because it's probably under NDA. But once it releases, I'm happy. I'll be sure to talk about it.
Yeah, keep them lips sealed until then.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, Jack, let's talk about June's challenge. Do you want to kind of give us an overview of what it was? And then I have pictures pulled up of those who entered, and we can review those.
Yeah, so June's challenge was a world hopping challenge. It was to create and or paint a custom miniature in the style of Roshar. The idea being that there's from another game or universe, we're going to take a miniature and drop it in to that Rosharan world and see what we can do to make them fit in, blend in. Hopefully no one would notice that they were not from Roshar. So we got some really good entries. I really enjoyed this month's challenge, seeing what everyone was coming up with. I think there were some really creative ideas, thinking outside of the box, albeit not all Rosharan variants, as we'll see. And there were some very creative interpretations of the rules, but I think it really got people's creative juices flowing. Some really good engagement on the channel as well, on the Discord. Yeah, so this was Siroga's take on an Angus Bren, I think a corrupted Angus Bren, if I remember correctly. And I really, really like this. I think it's a lovely paint job. Those crystals look fantastic as well at the bottom there. I really like the photograph itself, actually, with the background as well. I think it really helps complement the paint job. So yeah, really, really nice work all around on this one, and a pretty cool idea as well.
Yeah, I really like the flesh. Like, I think they did a really good job on the flesh tones, and kind of, I mean, it's not a Cosmere mini, but I could totally see this popping up in Shadesmar or something, popping out and trying to attack you. You never know what Spren will look like down there,
especially if Ishar's had his hands on them.
Okay, this one is from DJ, I think.
Yeah, it was Dark Kayana, which is one of the antagonists in the Cosmere RPG Stonewalkers campaign. Won't try to spoil, or won't spoil it for anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the characters that the party can can encounter. I think they're a truth watcher, and the idea behind this one is that they get corrupted, and this was a pretty good take on the character, I thought.
Yeah. I think, if I remember right, I think DJ had to do this because their group did something that changed the out, like they weren't able to go somewhere, and so they had to make up a new villain or something.
Yeah, so
Potentially.
that rings a bell. I think the main villain was defeated earlier than intended. So I don't know what went on there, whether there were some really lucky rolls or what. But yeah, I think the explanation and the creativity around not just the mini itself, but the story and the idea to come up with this altered villain was pretty creative, and a nice paint job as well.
The yellows and the greens to be related to Yilt, the colors that he is in the art guide. So that's good. All right, this next one. This one was from A Wizard for Hire, right?
Yeah, so I think this was actually a Mist Wraith, wasn't it?
Yes.
Which is from Scadrial, not Roshar. So, but who's to say that an unlucky Mist Wraith could not have found itself on Roshar? Perhaps it was a Kandra who's lost a spike or something like that. Who knows? So it's not outside the realms of possibilities. And I really did like this one. Actually, I thought it was pretty creative, using the kind of plastic wrap.
Yeah, because they wrapped it.
Gun.
Yeah, they wrapped it and then they did a heat gun to get this effect. I thought it was really cool.
So in terms of creativity and the idea, I think it was a 10 out of 10 for me. I really did like it.
Yeah, I thought this was so cool to see as they posted pictures in the work in progress as they're working through it. First of all, super creepy model. Like this is like spot on for Mist Wraith, and then like adding the plastic wrap and heat gun.
Mm-hmm.
Very creative.
Yeah, I think
really like that.
Maybe something on the base would have been good as well to help really sell the miniature as being part of the kind of Rosharan landscape. Maybe we could have, and that's nitpicking, but something to indicate the Shattered Plains or somewhere like that would have really finished it off. But overall, I really liked it.
Yeah, I know when I first got into mini painting, it took me years to finally get serious about the bases. And like once I started doing that, I noticed like a change in my ability and how I really enjoyed my minis more is when I was like, okay, here's the environment they're in, here's the story, and then you put the mini on it, and it really helps bring it all together. That's good.
Yeah, it's like what you said earlier in the video, Josh, around the use of pigments and tying the miniature in with the base. I think it really does help sell the effect. It just makes it, overall look like it's, being plucked from the in-world kind of thing. So, but not to detract from the effort, because in terms of getting creative, I think it was fantastic effort.
Yeah, 100%. All right, this one is from Ashton.
Yeah. So when we were discussing the challenge in the last video, I was in kind of in prepping for the last video. I think it was he immediately had an idea that he wanted to do, didn't he? And it was this Kaladin rather, inspired goblin. I'm not sure where the miniature itself is from. Do you know, Josh?
I'm not sure where you got it from, but it's amazing.
So yeah,
I think it's so funny.
It was certainly different. Whether a goblin would blend in on Roshar, regardless of the paint job or
It's
not. Is
a conjurer who got a goblin bones from somewhere in the Cosmere and came over.
yeah, they got themselves very confused. I think I really like the idea as well, just taking something that's completely out there and clearly not human, but painting it in the style of one of the main protagonists of the story was good. So yeah, big
Yes.
thumbs up for that
I
one.
mean,
And
yeah, the base or the way he framed the photo. I think this is my best framing of the photo, where
yeah,
it's really simple. It's just a cork board, which I highly recommend anyone who needs to do bases. Cork board makes great rocks, and then real rocks, some gemstones, whatever, and then the black background. Like I was like, this could be the Shattered Plains at night or something like that, you know?
yeah,
So
simple but effective.
simple but effective. Yes. Okay, so last one was from Hero Wannabe. And let me go over, this is a video of it, if it plays.
Yeah, so this was Hero Wannabe's Axes, the collector, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Hero Wannabe's done a few Hero Forge minis now. I actually first got chatting to him on the official Cosmere RPG Discord with his the miniatures that he'd done for Tazo, the Shinstone Shaman that the party encounters right at the start of the campaign. But I think this is one of a number of Hero Forge minis that he's done now, and they're all pretty good, really. Really do look like they're fully embedded in the world, all of them, and it's a nice paint job as well. I did like the attention to detail with the tattoos, which we saw in the close up as
Here's a
well.
close up.
Not easy to do, fine brushwork, make it look like writing at that scale can very quickly ruin any kind of paint job that you've done on the skin where a big black smudge. So fair play.
Yep.
Really appreciate the attention to detail on that one.
Yeah, I would agree. Just seeing the writing on, like, this just reminds me of trying to do marbling on a singer. It's very hard with the brush.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't handle it. So the ability to do this, make it look like writing, is really cool.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, I think we had some pretty solid entries this month. I think for me, there were probably two standout entries. I don't know what you thought, Josh, but for me, the two standout ones were the Mistwraith from A Wizard for Hire and Hero Wannabe's Axes the Collector. I think both very different interpretations of the rules. Obviously, one was an existing character on Rorschach, but was a custom mini made on Hero Forge, and the other was a Mistwraith from Scadrial that a bit of creative backstorying that found its way on Rorschach. I think for me, if we're going to take a kind of a strict interpretation of the rules, be the Skybreakers for a second, and the letter of the law. It was the challenge was for a Rosharan character. So on that basis, I think we're going to have the winner as Hero Wannabe for this month.
Yes.
And Axis the Collector. But like we say, a very close competition between him and Wizard for Hire. So great job both. Hero Wannabe gets the nod for this month. We do have a prize as well, don't we, Josh? I don't know if you want to cover the prize.
Yeah, so this month is the first month we'll be giving an actual prize, and I had a conversation with Brotherwise, and they are sponsoring our challenge winners with providing an STL file for the winners. So I'll be in contact with Hero Wannabe, and I'll let them choose for their boon. They'll be able to decide which STL they'd like from the list that Brotherwise provided for me. So I'm excited about it, that we're getting a sponsorship a little bit and be able to kind of spread the love of these minis to more people. So congratulations, Hero Wannabe, and overall great entries for the month from the group. And I'm excited to see this next month's entries of who puts them in as well. So that's a wrap, Jack.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Yes, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next month.